It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
V Week continues from the city of brotherly love as we welcome you to the American Conference on ESPN. Tonight from the Liacouras Center, it's the home opener for the Temple Owls as they host the Wisconsin Badgers. And welcome courtside with former Marist standout Julian Vianney. I'm Dave Leto. This matchup features two teams who are relentless on the defensive end. Wisconsin only returns one senior. As for Temple, a lot of depth this year.
And I do think this is a game that could weigh something come March. Both teams have a strong RPI, Dave. So if anyone is on the bubble, the selection show committee will look at a game like this and make a decision. If Wisconsin wins on the road at Temple, it bodes well for them.
Only two reigning All-Americans return to college basketball. One of them is Ethan Happ, who's dominant on the block.
An All-American demanding a ton of attention from every team this year. Since the older guys are gone now, all our eyes are on him, and he's putting up numbers. And on the other side for Temple, it's Quentin Rose, their rising star as a sophomore. One of the most explosive guards you'll see on the court today. He's worked on that perimeter game, so he's even more of a threat this season.
It is the 11th meeting between the schools. Wisconsin leads 7-3 and has won the last two. The Badgers will be in the Cardinal uniforms. Temple in the home whites. It will be Pat Adams to throw it up amid Happ and Annette. And we're underway. Temple's home opener in Philly with Josh Brown controlling the point. Here's Quentin Rose taking Iverson to the rack.
I expect to see a lot of that tonight, Dave. The man can get to the rim.
Here's the Wisconsin lineup presented by Zales. They lost 4 of their top 5 scorers from last year. You see a lot of this swing offense run through Ethan Happ and also Brad Davison with the ball there. Trice will won the point here for Wisconsin. Last year backed up Bronson Koenig. 7 to shoot here. It's 4. And holding by Annette.
Expect to see Wisconsin tonight try to slow this game down. They want to see it in the 50s or 60s. If that's the case, it'll bode well for them.
Annette with the step back in and out. Holded by Iverson. There's the Temple starting lineup. Fran Dunphy as his leader. Josh Brown back after an Achilles injury last year. One of the best one-dribble pull-up shooters. Annette is out there with Shiz Alston Jr. and Quentin Rose's scoring threat, so that's delivered by Davison.
Brad Davison has been playing so well for a freshman. And when we talked to Fran Dunphy today at shoot-around, he said he was a little worried about Davison because he's just playing so well, not playing like a freshman, a real tough guard.
Fran Dunphy has seen his team put 4 solid defensive performances together. The exceptions, he says, are the 2 4-point losses at LaSalle, where the Owls couldn't get stops in the last 10 minutes in the last game against GW.
They turned the ball over a little too much in that LaSalle game. That's something they don't typically do, but yeah, they've been pretty solid most of the season competing, and they've got some really great wins, which is what you want to see early on.
Yeah, in fact, George Washington shot 60% in that one.
Yeah.
Shiz Alston Jr. Back to Brown for an open triple. Off the heel, and the rebound to Iverson.
That's what Temple wants to do. They want to shoot threes. This team takes the most threes in this conference.
Going the high low, looking for Happ. He delivers his first attempt.
Looks like the past couple possessions have been kind of a matchup zone look for Temple. They're going to be switching a little bit in and out, but they typically play man.
In the recent matchup this Wisconsin had against Penn State, you saw doubles, in fact, sometimes 3 guys on Ethan Happ. Look out for that from Temple's team tonight. Annette on the dribble. There's Trice with a pickpocket. And the outlet up ahead to Iverson. Solo with the right hand.
And that's when Wisconsin will run most. It's when they can get a stop, force a turnover, and get it up in transition. A nice job anticipating defensively.
Iverson needs to be more consistent this year and get going early in games. That's the MO as Wisconsin is clinging to a 7-0 run. Down low to a Flackby. Wants to take Happ. On the back door, looking for Brown with the left hand.
That's what you worry about if you're Wisconsin. You've got to know where Josh Brown is very quick at reading things and cutting.
To shoot for Davison. Out to Trice, and here is Ethan Happ. Wants to take a Flackby with the left hand, 2 of 2 from the All-American.
A lot of NBA people here watching that young man right there. He is a solid player. His biggest adjustment this season has been going from the young guy, the new kid on the block, to the older guy. With 1 year of adjustment, really. He's got a young slew of guys around him.
Alston Jr. for the pull-up. There's Happ again. And one of the arduous tasks is that he's so crafty, strong with both hands, Julianne, down low.
Plays with patience in the paint. And he's been good even though he's getting double-teamed.
Here's Brown from the elbow.
Josh Brown.
That's a security blanket for Fran Dunphy to have Brown back out there. Last year, Alani Moore, who will come off the bench this go-around, had to start about 23 games. Brown this year back for his redshirt senior season and looking to do big things to take Temple back to the tournament. Here's Trice again. Looking for Happ. There's the help defense by Alston Jr. Happ with the hook shot. Now 2 of 3, trying to get his own miss. It does successfully. There's a Flackby for the Owls. Not known for his offense, but a guy in there is a tenacious defender.
Yeah, he's going to be all over the place, forcing turnovers, long, lengthy arms.
Alston Jr. right to the rack.
Alston Jr.
All of a sudden, a 1-point game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Temple team can shoot the 3, but they've got players that can create and get it off the bounce as well.
Here's Happ from the foul line extended. And that's an area of his game, Julianne, that he's been working on, the jump shot.
Yeah, that's what makes him that much better. A 6'10" power forward guy that can play like a stretch big.
In and out for Alston Jr., getting his own miss over Happ. A Flackby tries to get it. Instead, Happ is there. He is 6 of Wisconsin's 11. And for a big guy who's at 6'9", he has the most assists in the nation at that height. He's a terrific passer, arguably the best on the Badgers.
And that's what you got to worry about if you're Fran Dunphy. And he told me that at shoot-around today. Listen, we don't want to double him too much because he can pass out of the double and he'll find open guys.
Macionia, that was tipped, and Adams will say we'll go the opposite way as we come to a timeout. Wisconsin is leading by 3.
Wisconsin leading by 3 because of several players. But how about this dunk by Khalil Iverson up in transition with the finish?
Of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Get great offers when you download the Wendy's app. Welcome back to Philadelphia, where Wisconsin leads by 3. It's a Badgers team that lost 4 of their 5 top scorers from last year. In fact, just 30% of its scoring returns.
6 freshmen this year, Dave. I mean, they've only started freshmen 6 times in 17 years. Figure that one out. This year they're relying on just as many in one season. This is a program that typically relies upon older guys, upperclassmen. That's just the way it's been. A program for years like that. Other programs rely on freshmen often, but not this one. So this is a different tune for this group. So they're still really trying to get it together. And that young man right there, Ethan Happ, is the guy who's got to lead the charge because he's considered older as a junior this year. Has to bring along a lot of youngins.
Kobe King and Brevin Pritzel coming in for Wisconsin out of the break here, as Happ has 6 points for the Badgers. Here's Reavers as well, who just checked in. He can shoot. He's a versatile player. It's an inside-out game. King with the miss. And a fresh 30 for Wisconsin.
The good thing for Wisconsin, being young, you can really get them a lot of game time experience and think about your future after that.
Here's King in the post with a left hand, and that's smooth.
Really nice by King, super athletic, and he's been gaining a lot of confidence as he's gained experience as a freshman.
In fact, he made a huge 3 in the Big Ten matchup on Monday at Penn State. Backdoor cut for Annaccione over Pritzel. And that's what they need more from Obi and Annaccione for Temple, those rim runs, because a lot of teams will find him camped out beyond the three-point line.
Yeah, if he can extend his game in the paint, it will only help him be more of a weapon.
Quentin Rose on the help defense there. It's Ford with it over a Blackby. And Ted Valentine has the call here. It's going to go against Reavers of Wisconsin. As Aaron Maish is going to come in. There's Obi Annaccione. He has been such a stalwart scoring, especially from three. In fact, Julianne, he did test the NBA waters, but the NBA told him that they were not ready.
If he gets a little bit better in his game and continues to improve, he could be an NBA player. I mean, I think I mentioned there's a lot of NBA scouts here tonight watching him and others. But he is one of 21 players in the nation named to the Karl Malone Award watch list, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Obi did not hire an agent, so therefore he could come back to college basketball. 3 to shoot for Rose off the heel, off of Annaccione. Pinballs back to Brown. Fresh 30 for the Owls. And a mismatch here with Pritzel. And room to work for Annaccione again.
That's a nice job just getting it into Annaccione with his back to the basket. He's able to post up smaller guys at 6'10".
Reavers again for 3. His second attempt way off. There's Annaccione for the Owls. Rose, the team's leading scorer. A palming violation called against Quentin Rose. Wisconsin leads by 1 here in Philly. Dave Leno, Julian Vianney back at the Liacouras Center where Wisconsin leads Temple by 1, and Ethan Happ is getting it going early, Julian.
Ethan Happ is the real deal, and he does it in such a variety of ways, and he's one of those guys that doesn't do it by brute force. He does it with his nimble body. He's got nice spin moves. He can play off of space well. Just an excellent player who has increased his range, can make the 10 to 15 footer, but this is why so much is talked about with Ethan Happ. He can do it all.
In fact, he's the only major conference player averaging at least 15 points per game, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and the Big Ten's only player leading his team in points, rebounds, assists. Simply put, for Greg Gard, who's in his 3rd year at the helm for Wisconsin, Happ can do it all, and it's huge, an extension of Gard out there on the floor.
Absolutely, and he's gotten a heavy dose of teams' best defenses. It's only going to make Ethan Happ a better player, learning how to get out of double teams, learning how to score with the best on him.
It's tipped by Brown, and Alani Moore just came in, helped him out as well. Alston Jr. for 3, yes! Temple regains the lead.
That's what Temple's got to do. If they want to win this ball game, you try to push it as much as possible to get the open threes, because this is a knockdown three-point shooting team. They can space the floor.
Alston Jr. tops of the American Conference in three-point shooting, eclipsing 51%. Arduous task for Wisconsin to the schedule. 3rd game in 5 days. Have already played 2 Big Ten games. Got blown out against Ohio State at home. The largest loss of the Kohl Center. 1 by 1 at Penn State. Reavers looking for his first points. Moore trying to get it. Instead, there's Ken with another offensive board.
Wisconsin hitting the glass right now pretty hard. Doing a nice job getting these second chances.
Davison will spot it for 3. Davison, in fact, last game did not score. He did a terrific job against Tony Carr at Penn State, limiting him to 5 of 22. Against Ohio State, He had 16 points in that matchup. Scoring has come in spurts, but look for Davison to play a key role for Wisconsin this season.
A former quarterback of his high school team, and he was a state player of the year in Minnesota. So he's got the quarterbacking point guard eyes in basketball as well.
There's Damian Moore with the shot clock winding down.
Damian Moore.
A lot of weapons. Damian Moore started to make an impact near the end of his freshman season last year. And it's really come along this season.
His first career double-double against South Carolina at Madison Square Garden 2 games ago. Davison again driving. The defense by Moore, the step-back fadeaway, good for the freshman Davison. He's turning it on in Philly.
He's impressive. I mean, doesn't play like a point guard. He's so cool, collected, doesn't get rattled.
And Echionia wants to take Maish, and Pat Adams has the call against the Badgers.
And Brad Davidson, how about the start to this guy? I mean, he has been so good. A nice job just reading the defense, stopping with patience with the 10-footer, 5-footer, I should say. I mean, he has taken on the leadership role as just a freshman, a voice not a normal freshman has, Greg Gard told me before the game, which is what they really needed this year. And he separated his shoulder at Baylor, came back in the game, but he wears that brace, which is his non-shooting arm. So you got to keep an eye on that if it ever starts to bother him. It's bothered him the last couple games.
Florida should here for Alston Jr. Good defense by King, but Alston Jr. delivers nonetheless.
Better offense. He is their sharpshooter.
7 for Alston Jr. Hap back into the game with the right hand. Moore was there, and Alani Moore will look to push. He'll get it back and hoist a triple. Hap with the board for Wisconsin, and he'll push with Kobe King. King, the cousin of Jimmy King, who played on the Fab Five for Michigan back in the day. And look at that move down low. Ethan Hap, no surprise there.
That's the way to use the rim as basically your block, your defender. Good balance.
Alston Jr., the extra pass for Moore. That spirals in.
You look up and Temple's got the ball at the other end. They're looking to push it.
Moore in there for his physicality on the offensive end of Flackby is using the post defensively for Temple. King for 3. An up and down game here for Temple. That's exactly what they want to do. Their MO was to push Wisconsin throughout this one.
And that's only because Wisconsin likes to play that methodical, slower paced game. So they want to keep this game low. And Rose with the pull-up jumper.
Yeah, his first 2 points tonight, the leading scorer for the Temple Owls this year. Ranks 4th in the American, in fact, in scoring. Someone that's really blossomed as a sophomore from Rochester, New York. Iverson down low. Ted Valentine has the call from behind. It's going to go against Damian Moore of Temple.
And Quentin Rose finally getting on the board with the pull-up jumper, extending that range this season. He's even more of a weapon now.
Saturday will have an afternoon doubleheader of hoops. Number 1 Duke takes on Boston College at noon Eastern from Chestnut Hill. Then it's Indiana and Louisville. Both games are on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app. As we take a look at the AP Top 10 right now, Duke is unbeaten right now. Marvin Bagley the third, nearly 22 points per game.
Duke has been unbelievable. This is a team that is kind of young, but once the tournament or once the league play starts, they're going to take off. And Villanova also up there, Michigan State, Kansas. Nothing we haven't seen. Wichita State from this conference, they've got everybody back. I mean, Wichita State is impressive. They don't get the accolades Kentucky or Kansas gets, but that's a team that could go to the Final Four.
Villanova right now 9-0 with Bridges and Jalen Brunson. Florida, their lone 2 losses to Duke and Florida State, but Mike White really has them going. And at half, we'll put you on the hot seat, Julian. We'll ask you about your best in college basketball. That was the first free throws for either team tonight.
I know we've got Duke as the top team, but Michigan State could be an even better team than them. I think it should be interesting to see once the season continues and we get into league play.
Here's Brown out to Quentin Rose for three. Drake Perry tried to go for the miss. He's a freshman. Wearing number 22 in white for Temple from the Baltimore area. Very versatile at that, can play that inside-out game as well. Four to the half court, looking for Iverson down low. Taking the aforementioned Perry. Alani Moore with the swipe and the foul call by Pat Adams. Alani Moore, the Temple faithful, disagreeing.
I didn't see the foul. Who did they call this on here? See, that did not look like a foul to me. That was just an awful call. Alani Moore, all ball. I can see why he's angry. A lot of times referees will anticipate the call because you're coming down with your hand.
Fran Dunphy just wants to see more consistency, especially on the defensive end for Alani Moore. Last year was a start at that point guard spot, now coming off the bench with Brown back. Three was long from Iverson. And here comes Temple with Brown again. But the two communicated with one another last year as Brown was nursing that Achilles injury. Back to Moore. Guard wanted to travel, no call.
One thing to remember is Brown did not play most of last year, and they've got him this year. To have a veteran, a fifth-year senior leading your team, that's why I think Temple's been underrated coming into the season. And that's what Fran Dunphy was kind of telling me even before the game. Listen, this is a floor general that makes a big difference having him. Co-captain. But that Achilles tear was a killer for them last season.
Yeah, it happened in May of 2016. Tried to give it a go a little bit last year. Played 5 games, but in the end just couldn't play and just was rehabbing the whole year. As Happ checks back in for Wisconsin and gives it off to Demetric Trice. You mentioned that Davison, who's also in with the ball here, was a high school quarterback. Trice as well, and that's what Greg Gard likes to see. High school quarterbacks
super
out there
athletic.
for Wisconsin.
That's right.
Happ taking more. That was tipped by Rose. Here comes Brown for the outs. Alani Moore for three. And the rebound to Davison. And that's what's been the concern gearing up for this game for Greg Gard in Wisconsin. How to deliver on the defensive side on the perimeter. These Temple shooters really can light it up. Shooting nearly 40% from three. The no-look pass to Iverson and the foul called on Quentin Rose. That was a good look nonetheless by Demetric Trice.
Temple just fell asleep here defensively, and that was just too easy of a look. Wide open here. And you see the defense just loses sight of that weak side. That's where the help needs to come, but just poor rotation. And Wisconsin coming off that Penn State win was, I think, an important win for this team because every game they've lost this season, first of all, they've played a tough schedule, but second of all, they've been tight with those teams, except for the Ohio State game. They've been close, so they finally pulled a close one out at Penn State. So I think that's a nice confidence booster for this team.
Yeah, Wisconsin already has played 2 Big Ten games, and that's with the rest of the Big Ten Conference. That's because the conference tournament moves up a week. The Big East had Madison Square Garden for their conference tournament, so because the Big Ten tournament moves up a week at the end of the schedule, they have to play 2 conference games in December. It has been a challenging road for Greg Gard against Xavier, Baylor, UCLA. In fact, his team was in it with about 2 minutes to go. Either they were down by 2 or they were locked up but couldn't close.
That Virginia game could not have been more low scoring, huh? 37 points.
On the give and go with Moore, looking for his 6-point, and the rebound to King. Temple has missed 4 in a row now.
Notice, though, not a lot of offensive rebounding for Temple. They just go to get back defensively. You see that more and more in college basketball and at the pro level as well.
That was on Drake Perry's 2nd and Temple's 4th. It's going to force Obi and Echonia to come in for Perry. Obi Echonia wants to work on his post-up. In fact, you're seeing more rim runs this year in his senior season. Look for him to deliver. He really dreams about getting to the NBA. Didn't hire that agent, as I mentioned, came back to college basketball, but he absolutely wants to get to the next level.
He's got the versatility the NBA is looking for. A lot of long, lean, versatile guys that can play every position. As a beautiful three by Trice goes down.
Ninth lead change as we pinball back to a 3-point lead for Wisconsin. Comes the screen from Moore, working with Alston Jr. under 10 to shoot.
And there's a matchup problem down low. You got to see it.
And Echionia for a triple. Right overboard.
Or you'll take that. See, that's why he's an NBA talent. 6'10", he can pop out and make the three. Big guys don't want to come out there and cover him.
7 points for an Echionia, level at 26. That's tipped off of an Echionia, off the pass of Happ. Trice will get it again. Learned from Koenig last year. Wisconsin program all-time leader in threes, hoisted himself. Moore trying to get the miss, and it corrals into the hands of Brown. On the outlet, and Echionia for another dribble. Davison has it for Wisconsin. And you can see the commitment from all 5 positions, Julianne, to rebound the ball from Wisconsin. Down low to Happ, over Obi and Echionia. He'll get the road roll.
And he struggled for a few minutes to get another opportunity with a shot off, so they're all over him. It's not going to be easy for him to get looks tonight, so he's going to have that high efficiency.
Happ has collected 10 of Wisconsin's 28 points, held to single digits in the Big Ten matchups against Penn State and Ohio State. Alston Jr. for a runner.
He's playing with a lot of confidence. His mid-range game is really smooth. Not too many better off the bounce than him tonight.
He's got 9 for Temple.
His dad also played at Temple, so he's been around Temple ball for a long time.
That was the double on Happ, and alleviates Ford in and out. There's Quentin Rose. That's right, he's a Philly guy. Of course, seeing his father played here and wanted to suit it up in his junior season for the Owls. Led the team in scoring last year. Here's the guy who has that title this year, and Rose will give it off to an Echionia for the step back.
What I like about these two teams is you're not seeing too many turnovers. This is a very clean basketball game.
Here's Happ with a beautiful spin move again on Echionia. Good closeout by Alston Jr. Frees up King for the baseline drive. Brown looking to push again. Quentin Rose for 3. And Greg Gard wants to slow the pace here. And Wisconsin's going to call a timeout. 1:32 remaining in the half. We are deadlocked at 28 in Philadelphia.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Wisconsin head coach Greg Gard lost his father, Glenn, who was battling brain cancer, passed away October of 2015. Since then, Greg and his wife, Michelle, was a middle school principal, and traveled throughout the state of Wisconsin to raise awareness, over $1 million for their initiative, Guarding Against Cancer. They also have an annual Shooting Down Cancer event on campus. In fact, played his brother, Jeff Gard, at UW-Platteville, got together the year after his father, Glenn, passed away due to brain cancer. They had a cancer awareness game this year against UW-Stout, and Greg Gard wants to point out that all those proceeds raised are the collaboration between the Carbone Cancer Center, UW Health, and the UW Foundation, and all that money stays within the state of Wisconsin. He travels all across the state, not just in Madison.
And he's not the only one on this floor, because Coach Dunphy has been an active member of Coaches vs. Cancer since 1996 and has raised $14 million to the fight as well. So 2 coaches that have been heavily impacted and involved. Pretty amazing. Yeah,
we ask you to join ESPN and the V Foundation in the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Minutes of play in our first half. All square at 28 between Wisconsin and Temple, which has been an up and down fest. Alston Jr. with the floater. He'll get the rebound back. Guard wanted to walk instead. Play on, says the officials, and here's Quentin Rose. .13 to shoot for Alston Jr. Temple leads by 3.
He's got the hot hand. They're going to have to go to him all night.
Shot clock unplugged here for Wisconsin, trailing by a tray. Iverson, Happ, Trice, Maish, and Pritzel out there for the Badgers in the Cardinal jerseys. Under 10 to shoot. Ted Valentine, there's no call. Pritzel with 5, coasting in, tipped by Brown, to the shoot. Brown sees the shot clock and can't get it to go. Temple will go into the locker room in their home opener, leading by 3.
A very competitive first half. It's exactly what we expected. Low scoring, not a lot of fouls. Solid game by both teams.
It is Temple leading by 3 as we reach halftime at the NCAA Center. Coming up, our college basketball halftime report.
It's Bee Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
Start of the second half in Philadelphia, where Temple leads Wisconsin by 3. Welcome courtside with former Marist State Julian Piani. I'm Dave Leno. Only 4 total free throws, 10 lead changes in the matchup. Who do the pace favor?
I really think this is favoring Wisconsin at the moment. If they can keep this game under 60 or 60 and under, then it's Wisconsin's game. And so far, we're on pace for close to that. And Ethan Happ, obviously a tremendous player, and he did it from all over the floor in the first half. He does it with his back to the basket. He can pop out and step out, hit the open 3 or 15-footer. And Brad Davison was a lot of fun to watch. Nice off the dribble. He's a patient, poised guard who they really need. Just a freshman, but he doesn't play like that. And on the other side, Alston was playing out of his mind. He had 12 points, 4 assists. He was all over the floor. His mid-range game looks very smooth. He's stroking it, feeling it. They've got to find him in the second half.
These are the 2 players to watch. One of them, of course, is Happ. 5 of 7 from the field, the reigning All-American. And Wisconsin will begin half number 2. Cardinal jerseys, Temple in the home whites. Home opener for Temple. And second game in Pennsylvania for Wisconsin. They beat Penn State by 1 on Monday. Into the hands of Happ, swatted away by Annetionia. Trice, the shot clock at 10, and over to Davison for 3. Happ's there for the board instead of Alston Jr., fresh 30 for Wisconsin.
That's the hustle plays that you need day in and day out. Each game, you want to get those second chance boards.
Happ with a good move on a Flackby. A reversal here for Iverson. Good defense by Annetionia. That's twice Obi derailed Wisconsin.
A lot of length and athleticism of Temple.
Now shooting 47% through one half of play. 3 of 9 from 3. And you see they haven't gone to the free throw line.
Well, you got to penetrate to get there, and they haven't gotten a ton of penetration.
There's Alston Jr. with space. He's really delivering for Temple. Give him 14 of the game.
So much confidence. And last year, I know going into his sophomore year is when he made the biggest leap in his game. He was one of the most improved players in the conference. Last year, he was named the Big Five's most improved player, but he's even better this season now that he's a junior and he's more comfortable.
Here's Trice. Flackby has the miss. It's the largest lead for Temple at 5 right now. And with Alston Jr., even though he's bringing up the ball here, it's a less is more situation. I was talking with Chris Clark, the assistant coach for Temple here, as he threw it away. But Alston Jr., a guy that's going to play off the ball more this season for the Owls. Here's Happ taking matters into his own hands.
And he does it just steadily. He spins a lot. He has a lot of moves in his repertoire. And not an overpowering big guy. More finesse in a sense.
Paces Wisconsin with 12. There's good penetration by Josh Brown on a leap forward. He's a difference maker out there. Remember, 2 years ago, Brown led the American in minutes played, as well as assist-to-turnover ratio.
He was 10th in the nation in that category. So they were missing that last season big time.
It's heavy by Hap. Comes Temple in transition. Poor pass by Brown. Here's Iverson on a 2-on-1 with Davison. Hap spinning away by a flag pin. Ethan Happ will go to the line.
But see how Ethan Happ plays off the defense, and he really has the spin move down pat, but his footwork and his ball handling at his size is really solid. And just look at his hands here. I mean, great hands. He can get it up the floor. Listen, he's 6'10". Earlier we saw this. That just shows his athleticism to be able to penetrate up the court like that at his size.
Yeah, Ethan Happ has changed his free throw shooting mechanics even though he's below 70%. It's a little misleading because he struggled in the first 2 games of the year against South Carolina State and Yale. Since then, not getting to the line all that much, but nonetheless really delivering. Goes 1 for 2 that time. It's a big step for him moving forward and to get to that next level, even though right now he's a redshirt junior. Free throw shooting and the jump shot. Here's a Flackby, wants to take Happ with the up and under. There was Iverson.
Good defense though. Happ did a nice job not using his body, but just blocking with his hands.
Temple leading by 4. It's an Aleem Ford 3. Got it to go.
Sometimes all you need is a little pass fake, and Ford with a simple pass fake gets him open. See Aleem Ford here, and this is a great job by Davison, recognizing I got to kick it out. I'm double teamed. He finds the open man, and then the finish by Ford.
The play is halted a little bit here as Josh Brown for Temple took one to the face. There is Brown, the redshirt senior out of Newark, New Jersey. He's going to play a huge role for the Owls, especially when it comes to conference play, trying to take Temple back to the NCAA tournament.
Hopefully he's got some blood going on there by the nose area.
There's athletic trainer Sean Cameron with Brown. Said last year was just an arduous season for him, only playing 5 games. And really for Fran Dunphy, a lot of moments that just didn't go Temple's way, going in conference play 7-11.
And they were younger last year, let's face it. This year they're a year older. And we'll take a look back at this play here, bottom left.
And taking one from Pritzel. Unintentional, of course, but they're going to look at Josh Brown here. And the guy that Temple's really going to call upon, Alani Moore. He's someone's going to have to step up. Go to break here with Temple up by 1. Back here in Philadelphia with Temple leading by 1. Josh Brown took one to the face by Brevin Pritzel. Unintentional. See athletic trainer Sean Cameron attending to him. Here's another look at it.
That's just an inadvertent. Yeah, that's an inadvertent play. Just going in for the rebound, and he got hit.
See, there is blood on the wrist, and there's Pat Adams and Ted Valentine taking a look.
We're looking for flagrant action here, but it was nothing flagrant. This is a basketball play. Trying to get around him. I can't see them calling it a flagrant, even though it did go up above his shoulders there.
Well, Brown's going to go to the locker room. And first, we hope he's all right. And yes, they're checking for either a flagrant 1, flagrant 2, or just a no call there in that situation, which was deemed.
And that's what happened. I mean, I don't see any flagrant here. Now, he did go up by the head area, but he was going in for the rebound, and we'll see how they rule it, but I can't see them overturning it. Of course, I've been wrong before, but...
There's Pat Adams, Ted Valentine, and Rick Crawford can get together here. Rick Crawford was looking at Aleem Ford, who was shooting that 3. But how does that change right now for Temple with Brown into the locker room but leading by 1?
Well, I think him going into the locker room, it's not something that they would want at this point, of course. They need him out there. He's their floor general, so it doesn't look good for them. You never want to lose a guy like Josh Brown. He's their glue player. Very heady and knows what's going on. Such a leader on the court, especially in games like this.
So Rick Crawford came to the table, told us it will actually be a flagrant 1 called on Brevin Pritzel. So wait, 2 shots upcoming.
I'm surprised. I mean, I really am. I just, sometimes these guys don't call it, sometimes they do, but that just didn't look like, it looked like a basketball play. I mean, you think about certain plays like the Draymond Green play with Golden State where he was constantly getting called for the kicks. Sometimes it looks obvious where it's not a basketball play, but this is just, I wouldn't have thought this would be called a flagrant 1. But c'est la vie.
There's Brevin Pritzel seeing more time on the floor, a shooter for Wisconsin, but he's doing more than just spotting up from downtown, earning him more minutes as this season has gone on. And a guard there with Ted Valentine. Will be 2 shots at the line for Shiz Alston Jr. He's having a phenomenal game tonight. Just a big year that Fran Dunphy is looking for Alston Jr., especially with Josh Brown back, who's currently in the locker room after taking that 1 to the face. There was blood. And the athletic training staff attending to him. It's 48 consecutive free throws by Shiz Alston Jr. 1 more will tie Lynn Greer's record of 49 consecutive free throws. The Temple Owls. That was their first 2 free throws tonight. Here's an Echionia. Didn't follow a shot that time. Instead, it's Davison. Temple leading by 3 here. Pritzel, Iverson, Happ, Ford, and Davison out there for Wisconsin. And the hands of Happ to an open Ford, and we're deadlocked at 37.
That's the way you make a team pay if you're Ethan Happ. You saw Shiz Alston go down with the double team, and then Happ finds the open player, and you knock it down. That's how you get a team out of that double team.
6 for Ford on the high-low with an Echionia, and the call's going to come up against Aleem Ford. Back and forth action continuing here at Temple. We're level at 37. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Get great offers when you download the Wendy's app. Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, we'll have the 27th Annual Home Depot College Football Award Show from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Chris Fowler hosts with Kirk, Dez, Lee Corso, Tom Rinaldi, and Maria Taylor. You can also stream it live on the ESPN app. Good news for Temple fans. Josh Brown has returned from the locker room. He took a forearm by Pritzel to the nose, and we're told, Julianne, that he is slated to return.
Yep, he's going to get back in the game at some point here. How much he'll play or if it will affect him, we'll see, but looks like he got hit pretty hard there.
Flagrant 1 was called on Pritzel, the up and under by an Echionia, in and out, holding by Ford. Brown not out there for Temple, instead of Lonnie Moore. It's Wisconsin running with Iverson and Ford. Happ, Pritzel, and Davison out there for Greg Gard. Looking for Ethan Happ again. And that backdoor cut. Ford tries to save it. Pat Adams has it out of bounds. We'll go back to the Temple Owls. What do you want to see on the offensive end as far as efficiency for the Wisconsin half?
Well, I think that first of all, they don't want to turn the ball over, which they've been pretty good at so far, but they've got to get some more people, I think, involved. I mean, right now, you see a lot of stuff going through Happ, and I think that's good, but maybe get some other guys involved. They've got to get some help from somebody else, but they've got to continue to move the basketball. They want to control the tempo, slow this game down, and try to beat them in their terms and not allow Temple to beat them running or shooting from the perimeter.
There's Quentin Rose. Can't get the home roll. It's tipped out by a Flackby and a fresh 30 for the Owls. Jonia wants to take Pritzel. And the foul's going to be called on Brevin Pritzel, redshirt sophomore. And that's what they want to see more this year out of Obi and Etchionia is post-up players.
Well, he's got these smaller guards on him, and he's got to recognize it. And then his teammates have to get him the basketball when he does so.
More coming off the screen. Here's Quentin Rose over Kobe King that time, short, hauled in by Trice. Here's another guy that Wisconsin really wants to get going, and Trice held to just 3 points tonight. He can shoot it from the outside as well. Reavers also checking back in. Reavers, a guy that they didn't play in the first 5 games, decided they were going to redshirt him. He's dropped 11 and 10 the last 2 games.
You see Temple amping up their defensive intensity here big time.
Pritzel for 3. It's going to be a shot clock violation.
That was the best possession I've seen Temple play defensively. Really active, all over the floor, double teaming, rotating and communicating properly. That was an excellent possession for them.
Greg Gard's team last in the Big Ten in scoring and rebounding. If you followed Wisconsin over the years, and with Gard being an assistant to Hall of Fame coach Bo Ryan, you know that they pride themselves defensively. They're going to score as well. This year, got to keep in mind, they lost 4 of their top 5 scores. And Etchionia with the turnaround.
It's going to be a process, Dave, of this team gelling.
Reavers battling inside over a Flackby. He'll get the roll for the Badgers.
And they intended to redshirt Reavers originally in the fall, but they decided not to because they figured that they could use him.
Rose missed the jam. Here comes Trice. Looking for Pritzel again. And Wisconsin's just going to have to reset here. Yeah, Reavers' frame is very deceiving, to your point, Julian. Plays with a lot of grit out there for Wisconsin. Going to set the screen on Alston Jr. He'll get it back. 6 to shoot, tipped by a Flackby into the hands of Moore. Kickball called by Ted Valentine. And we'll go to the opposite way as the call is going to be administered against Wisconsin. As Davison will come back in, replacing Pritzel for Greg Gard. Done a masterful job in his last 2 years at the helm as head coach, taking Wisconsin to back-to-back Sweet 16s.
A very, very nice job. I mean, this program clearly has been a top program and just always solid every single year.
Foul's going to come away from the ball here. And it's going to go against Ernest Flackby. And he gets his second and has to come out. And Damian Moore will come back in. Flackby just has to not get in foul trouble, and that's what's been his Achilles heel over the course of the early season.
He hasn't been able to stay on the court. That's a huge problem, but he's an excellent player. A huge upside, really, if he could stay out there.
Derailed by an Etchionia again, 13 to shoot. That time, we'll get it to go over Obi.
That's the way to absorb the contact. Hap just goes up strong, and he actually got bumped there slightly and just finished beautifully.
Alston Jr. to the cup.
Alston Jr.
Super impressive tonight. Quick off the bounce. Known for his perimeter play as well. He's a pretty good shooter. He gets to the line too. He's made a lot of free throws.
Davison on the baseline drive, out to Trice for 3. He was short. Numbers here for Temple. It's Rose, gonna take it himself. It's rejected, however, by Hap. They're gonna call goaltending.
Number 13.
Basket will count for Temple coming up. With V-Week, we'll talk Temple and student manager Marcus Forrest and his story when we return after this. V-Week hits for home for Temple basketball. 3 years ago, Temple basketball manager Marcus Forrest had trouble breathing for about a week. He went to the ER where doctors found a large cancerous tumor around his heart. The tumor was actually the size of a baseball glove. He received his chemo treatments at Fox Chase Cancer Center in Philly. Told Fran Dunphy to come visit him, and players, coaches, and staff bring a positive attitude. Bring basketball tape. I am tired about talking about cancer. 3 years later, we're happy to report after many chemo sessions, Marcus beat cancer. Last fall, he returned to school as a full-time student. He works in labs as a research assistant with his predecessors on campus. I want to give credit to Matt Bevanor and the staff from Temple Student Media and Outsport Update, who did a fantastic job. Fran Dunphy as well is one that is at the top, spearheading efforts for Coaches versus Cancer.
We mentioned that earlier, and he has done so much for Coaches versus Cancer, and you've got to give him so much credit.
It's Quinton Rose with a strip and solo. Temple leads by 5.
Temple here gaining the momentum, and they're doing it with the energy on the defensive end. You just see how active they've gotten, and it's leading to some offense.
Happ on the backdoor cut, looking for Iverson over Perry at the rim, and there's more. 2-possession lead here for the Owls, and you see Josh Brown now wearing a different jersey because of the blood, number 14. Reavers had that, and it will stay on this end. And Brown normally wears number 1, now wearing number 14 back out there. And if you're just joining us, took a forearm to the nose early to start the second half off Pritzel. It's good to see the senior back out there as Aleem Ford will check back in. Temple will have Brown, Moore, Perry, the freshman, Rose, and Alani Moore. So you got a lot of shooters in this situation. Temple with the lead by 4 points.
Well, we know Temple loves to shoot. They want to shoot from the perimeter and space you out, but they're also defending the ball pretty well the last few possessions.
Officials are checking the shot clock here. Here's another look at the game and shot clock to your left. About 20 to go. There are guys right on it. Here is Pat Adams and Ted Valentine are taking a look. Get the accurate time. But how about Wisconsin to begin half number 2? Very slow to start.
Yeah, it's a slow start for them, but you know, I think for Wisconsin, they need more offense. And just speaking with Coach before the game too, that's something that they don't have this year, which is why I said that this game needs to stay at 60 or below for them to win it. If you reach 70, Temple is typically really, really good. That's kind of their magic number. They went 15-1 last season when they scored at least 70. So Wisconsin wants this to be a low-scoring game, but they're struggling, I think, scoring and getting other guys to score besides Happ. Davison's their other guy, but they need more out of him and some of the others.
There's Trey Perry on 4. Damian Moore is going to take Happ with the right hand.
And Temple has more weapons offensively, and Moore has shown some real length and smoothness to his game.
A much better game for Moore is 6 points. Last game just held to 2 points. Really couldn't get on the floor against GW. Happ, call first by Ted Valentine towards the 3-point line.
Foul number 23, Damian Moore. That's his first, team's third. Substitution for the out, number 3.
Wisconsin spearheaded by Ethan Happ. Just how advantageous to have a player of that magnitude on your roster?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, that's something that can take you a long way when you got a junior big man who can be a leader and veteran to help the younger guys.
And Perry has the timeout. Ted Valentine grants it to Temple, leading by 6. What work by the freshman there for the Temple Owls. Temple Owls leading by 6 here as Iverson misses the jam. Wisconsin trying to get going, trailing here in Philly. Welcome back to Philadelphia, where Temple leads Wisconsin by 6 with a little over 10 minutes to go in regulation. Greg Gard is just the third coach of the last 20 years to lead his team to Sweet 16s in each of his first 2 seasons, joining UCLA Steve Lavin and Gonzaga's Mark Few. This will be a monumental win for Greg Gard moving forward. Confidence to go back home where he has 6 straight coming up.
Right, they really need a win tonight. I think if they lose, it's going to be another tough loss because, listen, they've played a tough schedule this year. Tough isn't even the word. And, you know, when talking to Greg Gard before the game, he said, they always say baptism by fire, but it's been baptism by blowtorch for us. And it really has been. And people are always asking him, what are you doing with your schedule this season? And his response is that they didn't know about a couple of the Big Ten games that they had to add on a little bit later on. And then the Western Kentucky game was another one that was combined with a football contract. So some of it wasn't all him that scheduled all this. But look at this. This is a beast of a schedule, probably the toughest stretch or strength of schedule in the country.
Yeah, one of 2 teams to play 4 ranked opponents already as Hap delivers for Wisconsin. The other is Creighton. For a young team, that's just a real arduous task.
Yeah, and then that's the confidence problem. You don't have the confidence, so they're learning on the fly as freshmen. A lot of freshmen on this team. Not an easy thing.
17 for Hap in the game. Wisconsin finishing in the top 4 of the Big Ten each of the last 17 years. There's a palming violation called against Josh Brown. We'll go back to Wisconsin. A little bit of momentum for the Badgers.
Right,
here.
and the most recent guy everyone knows is Frank Kaminsky. I mean, he's the best 5 this team has ever had, you know, but now they don't have that kind of post player. Now Hap is terrific, but a program that has been phenomenal over the years.
Yeah, in fact, Ethan Happ had to go up against Frank Kaminsky and also Nigel Hayes when he was on the scout team. Really learned a lot from Frank. Obviously, you cover the NBA, you know Frank Kaminsky has that jump shot. That's exactly what Happ's trying to develop, but he's in communication with Kaminsky.
But listen, when Kaminsky was a freshman, he hardly played, and his sophomore year, he didn't even play a ton. It was when he was a junior he started to figure out, which Happ is a junior now. Senior year, Kaminsky was dynamite.
Happ redshirted as well, his true freshman year. Swiped by Austin Jr. Here's Alani Moore, gives it up to Damian Moore. The blocking foul called against Davison.
Fouls number 34, Brad Davison. That's his second.
And up in transition here. A nice job slowing down, finding the open player here. And then Davison just not quite in position there. Gets the block called. But it's all about pushing the tempo a little bit in transition for Temple.
And I also think when Greg Gard and his coaching staff review the tape and they see how Davison, the freshman, tried to take that charge.
That's
he
a
is a
thing.
trendsetter out there for a freshman. You're going to hear a lot about Ethan Happ moving forward as a reigning All-American. But keep an eye on Brad Davison moving forward. This kid can light it up. He was a star quarterback, as you and I documented as well. Wanted to get on the court. He's a freshman, but Julian, he doesn't play like one.
Right, tough as nails. I mentioned that in the first half that he's playing excellent, poised. Definitely not your average freshman. He doesn't play scared. I mean, he's going to take you out. He's going to sacrifice his body.
That was tipped by Brown again, stolen away by Ford. Iverson, extra pass. Trice, down low for Happ. Yes, for Wisconsin. A 2-point game.
That was a great series. Good passing and finding the opening.
Give Happ 19 in the matchup. Here's Alani Moore. Back to Enechionia. And a traveling call by Pat Adams on Obi Enechionia.
Now you're noticing another momentum shift for Wisconsin. All of a sudden you get a great offensive series and execution, and then you defend well. And look at this pass basket. It was all about the defense here, anticipation, and then the extra pass. That is what it's all about. You had the shot in the corner, but then you give it up to your big man who's been the main scorer for you, and that's the right pass, and then another play.
Happ delivers to lock it up at 47, give him 21 in the game. Remember, held to just single digits in the last two Big Ten matchups against Ohio State and Penn State, but a great showing tonight in Philadelphia. And a lot running through him as Wisconsin was trailing to begin the second half.
And they want to keep playing with this sense of urgency.
Damian Moore inside is fouled. And the call coming up against Ethan Happ as Moore will go to the line on the other side. But Happ has been delivering for Wisconsin. Badgers have the lead in Philly. 10-locked at 47 apiece, and the Ethan Happ is rolling.
And he's showing why he's an NBA player. I mean, the way that he's able to put the ball on the deck and post up at 6'10". He's all over the place, so versatile. I love his game. He's able to get low, keep his dribble low, turn and face, very nimble guy. And you've got to love his assertiveness, and they're looking for him out there. Second half, he's at 11 points, pretty even between the two halves, but he has been phenomenal.
10 of 15 shooting, 6 rebounds in 24 minutes for Ethan Happ, the reigning All-American.
He's impressed with his footwork and his ball handling skills the most. He can turn and face.
And for kids watching, look at the angles that Happ takes down low. Just waits that one last second. They'll find that space that's given up by Temple. Damian Moore delivers at the line for the Owls, 1 of 2.
If he can continue to increase his range, he's going to be even more highly touted at the next level, because that's where basketball's going. They're looking for versatile stretch 4 guys.
As versatile as they come, he's bringing up the ball here. Out to Kobe King. Iverson, Ford, and Trice, the other 4 players for Wisconsin. Extra pass to Iverson. Wisconsin has the lead.
Great assist. It's the way to draw 2 by Happ and find the opening. All of a sudden, they're playing with the urgency here.
13th lead change. There's also been 7 ties in this game.
Temple needs a bucket bad here.
Temple looking for Brown.
Brown.
First points for Brown since he took one to the face. Give him 8 in the game. Temple up by 1. Happ again. You're going to see the double team with Enechonia to Flackby. It frees up Kobe King. It's short. Happ trying to tip it in. Pat Adams says a foul's going to be called against Ethan Happ.
Foul number 22, Ethan Happ. That's his second.
That's a touch foul, if you ask me. Just a tiny little, not even a push, I wouldn't call it.
Ethan Happ said that when he was playing travel ball in 3rd grade, he had a chance to make a game-tying shot layup. Switched hands at the last moment. He missed it. Said it still haunts him, Julian, to this day. That's why he spends double time on his left and right. Constantly wants to be strong on both hands.
And that says a lot about his personality, a perfectionist and a winner, which is why he's so good.
And it's going to go against Temple here. Nullify the basket for the Owls. And it's going to go against a Flackby. That's his 3rd and the 4th team foul on Temple. In fact, Happ would be in the driveway with his dad and his brother, constantly working late at night on those drives, trying to strengthen both hands so he can ultimately play at the next level. His first love actually was baseball, though. Then grew to become a basketball player. Here's Ford. Back to Happ, taking a Flackby with a left hand. Switches it on cue.
He gets low to the ground. Has the little fake, and he's able to take it off the bounce. A special guy there.
23 in the game for Ethan Happ. Wisconsin leading by 1. Rose taking King with the left hand. And the foul's going to be administered to Kobe King.
That's his first.
And Ethan Happ, a special player here. A nice job facing up. Beautiful hang time. And he's been getting to the rim at will. He's going out to the wing, and he's taking it off the bounce. That's how he's been scoring a lot of his points in the second half. First half, a lot more back to the basket, but this half, you're seeing all guard-like qualities from Ethan Happ.
Yeah, the only other reigning All-American coming back to college basketball is Notre Dame's Bonzie Colson. And what Ethan Happ does, he just makes everybody better around him. Even though a lot of this swing offense that Wisconsin is so known for goes through him, he's always looking to pass too.
It's got to. Unselfish player. If Wisconsin can get one more guy to really step up and score, they'll be okay this year. They need someone else.
There's that cross-court pass from Happ to Ford off the heel. Iverson, offensive ball, counted for Khalil Iverson.
And those are the little things you've got to do, and that's a nice job by Iverson staying with it to get the extra possession.
He has 9 in the game following a fabulous performance at Penn State on Monday. Rose, out of control, offensive foul called by Rick Crawford.
And we just take a look at Iverson with this last play. I mean, this is the way that you want to do it. You're on the weak side. You know that shot is going to go long. Iverson is there. And then how about the swing of events on the other end? The offensive foul, and that's Davison being that tough, gritty guy, again, defensively to send the ball back their way.
Timeout called by Temple's. Wisconsin leading by 3 as they're clinging to a 12-3 run here. And Greg Gard has to like that he has Khalil Iverson at his disposal. Said he needs to be more consistent, but he plays at a different speed than others. Tonight on Sports Center at night after Timberwolves Clippers at 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific, Neil Everett and Zubin Mehenti break down Golden State's new look offense with Steph Curry's sideline. Plus, the Celtics go for a league best 22nd win against the Mavs, and a fascinating conversation with Allison Janney, who plays Tanya Harding's mother in the movie I'm Tanya. Sports Center after hoops on ESPN and the ESPN app. Julian, you covered the recent Golden State game. How is Steph Curry doing?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy because I didn't even see it happen. It was like 30 seconds to go, or a minute to go on the clock where it happened, and he actually wobbled off the court. So it looked like it wasn't that serious, but later on we find out that his injury might be more serious than we thought. He's been having problems with that ankle for quite some time. It's been a number of years. So we don't know. We think he'll be out a little while, which is a shame, but Golden State has struggled with injuries this season between him and Durant.
Yeah, you have Durant and Thompson averaging more than 20 points per game. The sprained right ankle for Curry x-rays did come back negative. Wisconsin on a 12-3 run. Happ has 8 of those 12 points for the Badgers. Reavers back into the game for Wisconsin. Up by 3 out of the timeout. King off the screen, working with Iverson. Reavers, Ford, and Davison, the 3 other players for Greg Gard's unit. 1 to 10 to shoot here for the freshman. Davison gives it up. It's a Reavers 3. Way off on it.
You've got to believe that Happ
More for 3. Rebound, Josh Brown, the senior.
I have a feeling Happ won't be on the bench too long. I mean, they can't really afford to have him out long at all.
Under 4 minutes to go in regulation, a 1-point game in Philly with the Big Ten's Wisconsin Badgers holding the lead on the road. Davison on more, the step back two. Alston Jr. might have got a piece, but it's Ford who cleans up beautifully.
And again, the second time Wisconsin's done that.
Temple can tie with a 3. Alston Jr. slicing through traffic. He's strong. Tipped by an Echionia. Be off of Temple. go to another break here, but Wisconsin seesawing with a 3-point lead.
Both these teams are feeling it. They're playing with intensity, and that's what you want to see. First, it's Temple with the finish off the second chance opportunity, and then Wisconsin as well, battling down on the glass.
Here's a key play in the game for Wisconsin that gave the Badgers the lead.
Khalil Iverson has been in the right place at the right time. A great job just putting himself in a position to score. Of course, the assist from Ethan Happ, who has been the playmaker. He's basically been a point center at times tonight. But Iverson, who has that extra gear in his game, this team is a team that likes to lull you to sleep, and then all of a sudden Khalil Iverson puts on the Jets. He's got an extra gear nobody else on the team has.
And for the first time, full court pressure for the Owls now alleviated as Happ will bring it up on it at Gionia.
There's the point guard skills of Happ. They're just giving it to him. He's going to take over here at the end.
Now, what do you think Greg Gard is drawing up there with Happ bring up the ball? It's about the third time that he's done so.
I think it's a playmaking thing. I mean, Happ is their best playmaker. In all honesty, he's their best passer, rebounder, and scorer. So give him the ball and let him make decisions off the bounce.
Tipped by Moore. There's 16 fouls on Temple. Keep that in mind as Wisconsin will do the one-on-one situation following the next one. Badgers leading by 3. Temple possession with under 3 minutes to go. Brown, Alston Jr., Alani Moore, Annette Gionia, and Quentin Rose on the floor for Fran Dunphy's Owls. Isolated Annette Gionia, tipped by Iverson again. He walked there. Will stay on this end for Temple. Nonetheless, Iverson's giving it his all for Wisconsin.
What hustle, what hustle. It's too bad that he had to turn that over, because look at how Iverson gets around this play. That is an excellent play. He's not just three-quarter fronting. He's basically getting himself in the front to get the tip. But good hustle by Iverson. It's been about that tonight.
Fresh shot clock for Temple in the half-court set. 2:30 to play. Inside for Annette Gionia, the mismatch with Davison on him.
And that's good recognition. You've got to find out which smaller player is on Annette Gionia, who's also that kind of player.
1-point game, crowd getting into it at Liacouras Center. Happ with the beautiful spin, rejected by Annette Gionia. Numbers here for Temple. Watch Rose fly. And he'll go to the line as the foul's going to be called on Davison.
And you hear this place is rocking, and this is where Temple's advantage comes in, and a beautiful block by Annette Gionia, and then up in transition with the foul. Quentin Rose is so quick. He's going to take off to the races, but this young man has serious ups with that block. A game changer when he plays well. He's long, he's hard to guard. When he pops out and makes shots, he's hard to cover. And he's got the ability to block shots.
Rose ties the game at 55. Temple now 4 of 9 at the charity stripe. Sophomore Rose has been in double figures in every game this year. In fact, he's had 4 20-point games, a 19-point game against Auburn as well. And that's off. And with 2 minutes to go, we're deadlocked at 55.
Rose a really good scorer, but Fran Dunphy wants him to get better at passing and working on that handle, which will take him to the next level.
And a timeout is called by Davison and Wisconsin. With 1:51 to go, Greg Gard's going to draw something up here for the Badgers.
Well, you want to get a good shot here. Plenty of time. You've got 1:51. You've got the shot clock still, but draw something up solid, most likely going through Ethan Happ, and that's what you want.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Wisconsin Badgers on this 2-game road swing in Pennsylvania. They'll face the rival Marquette, who they beat by 9, and then have more remaining games at home.
Well, not as tough as a schedule as they've had early on here, but guess what? They're going to be prepared for the Big Ten when it comes. because nothing is coming easy.
Wisconsin has been in these tight matchups. We mentioned against number 15 Xavier, then for 22 Baylor in the Hall of Fame Classic, as well as UCLA. All those games decided by 5 points or less. Xavier game was a 10-point loss. And then you got to keep in mind as well, the Penn State game, the ability for Wisconsin to pull out that one with Penn State coming back, that's huge. As for Temple, what is Fran Dunphy talking about in his huddle right now?
Similar thing, you've got to defend here clearly, and this is their upcoming schedule. And their schedule to me is real tough. They've got St. Joe's, they've got the Big Five basically coming up. Drexel's not a part of the Big Five, but St. Joe's, Villanova. The Villanova game's going to be a good one. Georgia, an SEC team, so not the easiest schedule for them either. They've really built quite the resume.
Fran Dunphy's team swept the Gildan Charleston Classic, beating Old Dominion, Auburn, and Clemson as well. A couple narrow 4-point losses against LaSalle and GW. 1:51 to go.
Both of which are A-10 schools, which is interesting when this program was in the A-10 for so long.
Right inside the Hap with the spin move, ejected again by Annecchionia. Brown lost it, goes off of Hap, back to Temple.
And Hap thinks he was fouled, but Annecchionia with some key plays down the stretch here. Both have been blocks, and they're looking to get it into Hap, and Hap here with the nice spin move, and Annecchionia with the block. And let's see if he got any arm here. I didn't see much arm. He's not happy. But Annecchionia showing that athleticism.
That was the third block for Obi Annecchionia. And you see on the offensive side, he's having a more concerted effort to post up. You'll see him be a spot-out shooter from 3, but a guy who's going to be in the interior on defense getting the job done tonight.
You're not going to get it over him, especially when he's locked in, and right now he is locked in. And we've got an official review here.
Pat Adams and Ted Valentine are taking a look at this.
Oh no, I was wrong last time, but that he's not even near his head.
Let's take one more look, guys. It looked like Obi might have had a piece of Ethan Happ for Wisconsin. Maybe some Wisconsin faithful out there thinking that Obi Annecchionia got a piece of the arm first, Juliet, before the ball. .138 to go, deadlocked at 55. And
they're looking at the possession here, not the foul. You can't reverse that anyway, but they're looking at possession. So
to make an argument that Annecchionia got Ethan Happ, even though, like you said, they are looking at the possession here. Nonetheless, Obi Annecchionia has played very well tonight, trying to guard it, and a lot of times 1v1 situations on Hap.
Yeah, I don't know if a white jersey touched it last. It didn't look like Brown actually got a piece of that.
Well, this is the home opener for the Temple Owls. They went on the road 3 consecutive games for the first time in school history at the Liacouras Center. Last year, didn't go to the NCAA tournament, finished an even 16-16, 7-11 in the American Conference, but Julian, a much deeper team this go around.
Man, they're deeper and they're not as young. And the freshmen this season for Temple were very highly touted, but haven't played a ton because the starters are so good. As we take a look again at this review.
It was Iverson that tipped it off of Brown, but the question for Pat Adams and Ted Valentine looking at this.
Who did it go off of last? Was Brown last to touch it? And I don't think he ever touched that. The ball didn't look like it changed direction, but it was very close. Yeah, it remains, I believe.
It will be Temple basketball after the review. So we'll go off of Iverson in the end. Ted Valentine get it back in play here with 1:38 to go in regulation. 55 all between Temple and Wisconsin. The 11th meeting between The two schools, Wisconsin has won the last 2 meetings. Brown falls and a blocking call. Administered to Davison, called by Rick Crawford. And Brown will go to the line on the 1-on-1.
And Davison here just kind of gets his feet locked up, and he's moving. I think he was trying to take the charge, but he was moving. I mean, I think that was the right call for sure.
It's the second time that Davison tried to take charge, but to no avail. There's Josh Brown, one of the team's better free throw shooters.
Well, he was in the middle of movement and off the dribble.
Fresh 30 here for the Owls. 1:25 to play. Hap on an Echionia will give it up to Alston Jr. 10 to shoot. Gliding past Hap. No shot. The foul will be coming up here on Ethan Hap.
That's the right call. Hap bodied him. Certainly got bodied. You see, this is a matchup, a mismatch. Alston Jr. gets to the rim, and Hap just with a little bit of body on him.
Double bonus for Alston Jr.
And he is the guy you want at the line. Made 48 straight free throws since December 28th of 2016, which is incredible.
It's 49 consecutive free throw made for Shiz Alston Jr. Give him the record for Temple, 50 in a row. Gives Temple, more importantly, the 2-point lead.
Give him the ball in crunch time.
They're getting loud here in Philly. Under a minute to go in regulation. Wisconsin down 2. Into the All-American Hap. Short on the left hand off of Venezuela. Pinballs into the hands of Brown. Brown thought about calling a timeout. Fran Duffy says go.
They're in rhythm. I think it's smart. Let them play this one out.
10 to shoot for Alston Jr. Up by 2. The step back 3. Way off. Wisconsin will get it back with his shot clock unplugged, trailing by a deuce.
And not the best shot that you want at that time, but Alston was feeling it. It was a little bit of a maybe heat check. He had a bigger guy on him.
Demetric Trice will come in for Khalil Iverson. And the timeout going to be called by the Temple Owls with 27.6 to go. Wisconsin trailing by 2.
Temple calls a 30-second timeout.
Saturday will have an afternoon doubleheader of hoops. Number 1 Duke takes on Boston College at noon Eastern from Chestnut Hill. Then it's Indiana and Louisville. Both games are on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app. Well, in this situation, if you're Fran Dunphy, you got to defend the full court here against Wisconsin, trailing by 2. If you're Wisconsin, how are you going to try to break this press?
You got to break it as you've been able to. This team, again, doesn't turn the ball over that much. Break it with the pass. A pass moves faster than a dribble. So if you can break it with the pass, get it in the middle of the floor, you might be able to get an easy basket at the other end.
Wisconsin sends out Ford, Hap, Trice, King, and Davison.
The token pressure here is meant to just shave time off the clock, so they have less time at the other end to shoot it.
Shot clock unplugged, 27.6 to go in regulation. Into the hands of the point guard, Demetric Trice. Looking for Hap, 17 seconds to go. King off the screen! Off the iron, hauled in by Rose. Out to Alston Jr. It's tipped by Davison. It will stay with Temple with 6 seconds to play.
Wisconsin got a good shot. I mean, King's a freshman, though. I mean, I don't know. He's the one you want taking that shot from a distance, but very good defensive possession by Temple to force that kind of shot in this situation. Now you get the ball, and they have to foul immediately.
Brown has a net junior, Alston Jr. Moore and Quentin Rose out there. As a timeout's going to be called by Greg Gard. Wanted to see how Temple will align themselves with 6 seconds left, try to come up with a steal here.
And that's what you've got to do. You've got to call the timeout and draw it up. But you know it's going to be a foul. I mean, it's got to be. You can't let much time go off the clock here.
This is going to be very reminiscent of conference action for both teams. Temple dealing with the likes of Cincinnati and Wichita State. And in the Big Ten for Wisconsin, you have Minnesota, Michigan State, Purdue.
A big test, a big test. I think both these teams have set themselves up for successful conference play because of their non-conference schedules. Let's be honest, both teams have had a strength of schedule.
Six seconds to go. Into Alston Jr. There's the foul by King. 4.6 left.
Well, this is the importance of having a great free throw shooter on the floor in these types of moments. Alston has a chance to ice the game here and make it a 2-possession ball game. 50 straight.
Yeah, broke Lynn Greer's record of 49 in a row. That was sustained over a 3-week period. In 2001, it was Alston Jr. to lengthen the Temple lead.
It's all about sheer practice, muscle memory at the line, and focus. It just shows his focus.
Bring the three-point shooter, Brett Pritzel, into the game. As Cleo Iverson's night is done. Great performance by Iverson tonight in Philly. Four-point lead for Temple. 4.6 to play. To Trice, going to heave it up from half court, and that will do it. Temple in their home opener prevails by 4 over Wisconsin.
What a game, though. Temple coming up big at the end here, taking control of the tempo and being the aggressors. But what a performance by Wisconsin, too. A tough game.
For Julianne Vianney and our entire crew from Philly, this is Dave Leonard saying so long for the Liacouras Center, where Temple wins it by 4. Coming up next on ESPNU, it's ESPN Films presents 30 for 30, the gospel according to Matt.